Y'all, I made something and it worked. I have ADHD and worked in corporate, still work in corporate, and I created a program for leaders and organizations to get the support that they need to boost their executive functioning. I did a test round with a business locally to me, and luckily there was an amazing grant that they received and they were able to pay me for this. And so I implemented my testing that I've been using with people individually in coaching sessions one-on-one for years. And I did it with a group of 6 leaders, 6 in the restaurant industry. So they are GMs, they are managers, they are district managers. And so they are people who are busy and they are dealing with heavy emotions, because working in a restaurant is hard. You're frontline with people, personalities and everything. Let's talk about the results real quick. This is really cool to see. So 100% of respondents, remember there's 6-7 people that were part of it. Every single one, their executive functioning improved over the course. They had an average gain of 23% in their leadership skills. So they would go, I had different ratings from 1 to 4, and most people went from a 3 to almost a 4 or 3.7 in their executive functioning skills at work. Skills held or grew, none declined when it came to all the different types of executive functioning skills that we talked about, which there are 8 specific executive functioning skills for every day. If you're not familiar with executive functioning, go on my page. I talk a lot about executive functioning skills, especially in the context of work. 5 out of 6 tools that I created myself are being used. And everybody, the great thing about the tools that I made, from something called a leadership matrix to a card that helps you identify your best next steps, or how to approach a hard conversation, those are tools that I created because I made them for myself, or I made them for my clients that I had one-on-one with. And so I created this leadership development program because I was like, the missing link with learning and development is the support of executive functioning. So much leadership and development skills does focus on leadership topics, but we don't focus on the leader. You might talk about goals. You might talk about where you want to go, who you want to be as a leader, which is important and fantastic. And if people are challenged by focus, attention, organization, emotional regulation, and staying regulated at work, and all those other executive functioning skills that help us reduce our impulsivity, help us process, make connections, connect those dots, those leadership trainings will not matter. They will not matter because they will go into immediate reaction territory if you don't call it out. A lot of times people in development programs, and not mine, use that as like a moral issue. Well, you are the problem. Okay, well, let's talk about why. We don't get into trauma. That's not what we're here to do. What I am here to do is to acknowledge that you are emotionally dysregulated at work, and that is getting to your staff. So if you're upset because you don't like the reassignment you have on location, maybe you are a manager that kind of floats around to different locations and you don't like it anymore. And instead of talking about it and having hard conversations, you're reacting to it. That is emotional dysregulation, and that's not okay. So we had 4 specific workshops that include things like homework, tools to try, accountability groups. And fun fact, they've done research on this, accountability and the likelihood of you hitting your goals increases when you have an accountability partner that you actually think wants you to succeed. I know. I created this program so that businesses and organizations could get the executive functioning training, and in the context of leadership, without that generic leadership banner. And what this is foundational. Like, they are about to go through lots of additional training, and they were worried about, some of these managers are very green. They're new to the organization, and some of them are just real young. You know, they want to learn, they're there to learn. And one of them even said, hey, I eventually want to own my own place. So I came, and this boss knows this, and I want to be here for 5, 6, 8 years, understand what it looks like to open a bar. you know what? This is great because you're going to be a future business owner and I want you to have this information too. If you don't focus on your own executive functioning skills, your other leadership traits are going to really be challenged. So as somebody with ADHD who's done leadership work, when I started honing in on my executive functioning skills of focus, organization, emotional regulation, those three were my trifecta: focus, regulation, and organization. And the other things like impulsivity, a lot of those things waned because I found the ones that I really need to focus on. So if your organization is looking for a different approach, a foundational approach, things that you can do to really put you in a good place before you do those huge leadership programs, call me. I want to talk about these results. I'm going to get you in front of the GM or the owner that I worked with, and let's talk about it. Let's give people what they really need, that foundational support to succeed at work or in a business.